What's up, folks? Welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm doing a Fluff Tube special edition. Lots of stuff getting out there right now on the Hells Angels headed to Colorado, Aurora, Colorado. A lot of crazy activity happening down there. Me being in El Paso, I've gotten word that they are making their way through the states again. And I'm not gonna lie, I was here just down the street and I saw two very sketchy individuals. This was yesterday. It was for my nephew's birthday party, and it was around the Peter Piper pizza area. And there were some guys with tattoos all over their face, walking in and out of the parking lot. And I asked them, "Donde eres?" And they got real. They just beelined it and took off, walking real fast away from me. And they were carrying backpacks. That's something I've never seen in this area before. So my senses are up. My antenna's up. Folks, everyone, welcome 𝗀𝗏. He's joining me once again. How's it going, Ron?
Well, all right, man. How are you? No, you talk
Good.
about you talk about the Venezuelan stuff, and I recall when I came to visit you, then we went downtown and we were talking to people, and the guy was like, "I'm from Venezuela."
Yeah. Remember that? Outside by the church. Yeah, no, I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, we got a situation on our hands, and I believe a lot of them are coming here to be activated, for certain reasons, obviously. And they can care less for law and order, I'll tell you that right now. But first, folks, before we get into this, get your gut cleanse protocol. Get your gut cleanse protocol. Speaking of digestive issues, this is caused by potential toxins that's in all the quote healthy foods that you think are healthy that scientists have been telling us to eat with the fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time. Why'd you get off, Ron? You don't want to hear my commercial? And this potential toxin causes digestive issues, according to Dr. Gundry, a world-renowned cardiologist. This is affecting millions of people nationwide. Warning signs include weight gain and fatigue and digestive discomfort and stiff joints, even skin problems. Well, Dr. Gundry explains these side effects are often mistaken for normal signs of aging because digestive issues develop usually over a matter of years and sometimes even decades. I can assure you that the damage is probably caused by these healthy foods and is far from normal. The good news is you can easily help fix the problem from your own home. It's very simple. You just have to know which foods are actually healthy and which contain a hidden potential toxin. So you can find these foods for yourself at gutcleanseprotocol.com/Nino. It's as simple as staying away from these foods. Hit the description box below, folks, and get started and start losing weight. Skin starts looking better and everything. It's amazing. I love everything that I try. I'm kind of the guinea pig. Gutcleanseprotocol.com/Nino. All right, Ron. Man,
Yep.
things are heating up. I mean, when you have videotape, did you see the videotape of these guys going into the apartment and kicking it down?
Yes.
Crazy.
But I mean, I saw several things, and the funny thing that I really found there was that the authorities, specifically the mayors of both Denver and Aurora, which are suburbs of each other. Aurora is a suburb of Colorado, or Denver rather. They were like, "Oh yeah, there's nothing to be worried about. We've got it under control."
Yeah,
yeah, right. Well, I talked to a good friend of mine who is I'll just say that he works for a Fox affiliate somewhere in Texas.
okay.
I don't want to say any more than that. And what he said, and I'm going to quote him. He said, I talked to a police officer the other day, and he told me in my town at one of our most notorious housing projects that it's been completely overrun by Middle Easterners. Women are all outside, and the men are doing God knows what on the inside. The good news is that the police officer says Black Hawk helicopters routinely fly over and with their transponders off, so it's not gone unnoticed.
Wow. So this is. See, I'm hearing intel from other places as well, not just Colorado. So I think it's going to get really bad as we come into the election, as we've always said on my channel. You and I have always said this.
We've always talked about this, talked about being prepared. can't reveal sources where I got this from, but somebody very credible said that there's multiple people who are very credible said that there's military movements all along the eastern seaboard. And I mean, I don't know if everybody's seen the video of the military, and it's not, to me, it didn't look like it was exclusively American military. It looked like it was a conglomerate, like multinational.
Well, not just our guys.
Yeah, not just our guys up in New York. And the one guy was two people were outside, and one looked like he had it was either a Navy digital desert camouflage or a Marine digital desert camouflage, and then the other one was wearing what the camouflage pattern called Scorpion, or some people might know it as multicam, but it's not, whatever. The point of the matter is that the Navy doesn't wear multicam. The Air Force and the Army wear multicam, and the Navy has their own digital patterns that look similar to the Marines, and the Marines have their own digital patterns that they look similar to the Navy, but there are differences if you have the eye to spot them. So, but I noticed several camouflage patterns of people walking towards that, and they were definitely not American patterns. So I was in the military, and and that is, camouflage patterns is always something that I've kind of had a
I mean, because now
I geek out on, you know.
Yeah.
So I know what I know a lot of. I mean, I can look at a camouflage pattern, and I can say, oh yeah, that's from that country, or that's from that country, and I don't know every single one, but I mean, I can tell you the Chinese pattern, I can tell you the British pattern, I can tell you I can tell you a lot of patterns from people all over the from Russia, from all over Europe. So
let's play this for a second.
Yeah.
They're knocking on the door. You think someone's going to open?
Well, I see. So the thing that really confuses me about this is why? What are they hoping to achieve here, and why? I mean, to me, this doesn't necessarily feel like they're going in to like try to commandeer an apartment. It feels like they're going in to try to get somebody.
Get someone, right?
Now that's what it looks like to me. I mean,
that's what it looks like to me too.
Yeah, it doesn't feel.
But this is still America. This shit shouldn't be. This shit
100%. Right.
This is Colorado, Aurora, Colorado.
I agree with you. I just listen. I don't trust the news as far as I could throw it. And if they're putting out something that, and they're saying that they're telling us what it is, forgive me if I have a healthy sense of skepticism.
Correct. So there's at least 5 guys, right?
They're all armed.
Are these different apartments or just one?
It's just one apartment. Well, I mean, it's obviously an apartment building. And let's see, that looks like it says 306. I'm looking 304, maybe 304.
304 is what it looks like to me. Yeah, this to me looks.
That would be a 3rd floor.
301. Well, this is going viral. I mean, this is
the dude with the long gun doesn't have a freaking clue what he's doing.
Oh, they don't need to though. They're going with the intention to do some criminal, obviously, either kidnap somebody or, that's what they do in Mexico, man. That's what they do in other countries, in third world countries. And now, what do you expect, folks? When you have all these people here now, you think they're just going to abide by our law and order? No way, no way. That's why I've always said it's going to completely change the landscape of America. This is going to be it's a whole different ballgame now. In Mexico, I grew up in El Paso, Juarez, so You know, how many businesses do I know that friends owned in Juarez that got extorted, that got taken out?
Right.
You know, in 1 year when the drug cartel wars were happening, I lost 9 friends in 1 year just to being extorted by different gangs, and they didn't want to give up, they didn't want to pay all the gangs, and then the ones that they didn't cooperate with took them out. And I lost 9 friends in 1 year. So this, when I see this starting to happen in America, this to me is a direct result of the administration that's there right now, letting this happen, open borders. And I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I think this is about to get really crazy as we go into September, October, and November. I think this is, the party's just beginning, folks.
Let me so somebody posted that somebody posted that in a kind of a group chat that I'm a part of, and I had some guy, there's a gentleman in there who just was, I mean, I won't say he's black pilled, but he's the closest thing to a black pill. And I just said, look, you know, fear is going to paralyze people, and I feel that many creators out there paint the worst picture possible, the worst possible scenario, and they paint it as fact. And I feel this information is worth listening to in parts, but while I believe things are going to get bad, I also think the severity of the bad is really going to be depend mostly upon location. The more densely populated an area, the worse the potential for chaos and violence. I tend to believe that conservative areas are going to be less impacted.
Yeah, it's going to be Democratic hellholes.
It's going to be, yeah, the conservative areas are going to be less impacted because those people are going to have much more ability to defend themselves. But we shouldn't take a specific event and extrapolate it out as though that is what is going to happen everywhere.
There's some strange activity brewing, though.
Agreed.
You know,
And so,
just what I've seen locally here in El Paso, man. Just what I've seen. You know, I can spot these guys out. A lot of them have tattoos all over their faces, but it's real easy to see. And you know, one thing about being black pill, I could easily go to the black pill route. You know, I know enough information that I could actually go that direction. But I think black pill is when you're red pilled and you don't have faith. Um,
that's well said. My feeling is that right now the primary reason that people black pill is because they're exhausted. They're
I,
tired.
I see it, and I'm tired too. But you got to keep fighting. I was tired in the 7th and 8th round too.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to quit. You know,
Yeah.
it's
And to your point, people can't quit. You know, we look at what's going on out there, and it's rough. I mean, you know, people don't have jobs. A lot of people don't have jobs. A lot of people aren't paying their bills. A lot of, you know, bills are going up exponentially. Food is going up. There's a guy that I pay attention to out here. He's out in the desert area, and he was talking about a food bank that had a line that's the longest he'd ever seen in the United States. It's like, you know, and it reminds me of an article that I read by 𝗷𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶 from like almost 10 years ago. And he said, you know, it's the Russia and the United States had changed places. And I was like, you know, because you look at what's going on in Russia, and I may get some flack for this, but you know what? If you analyze it on at the core, they are the central moral standard by which the world really needs to follow.
Now, I've been told by people that I've talked to that the safest thing people can do is, we know this is coming, but the best thing to do is be around friends and family, people you know you can count on. And as this type of activity picks up, don't go and find it. Just stay hunkered down. Yeah, don't stay hunkered down. Yeah,
Yes.
don't go looking for it. Don't go try to do something. But that being said, you got people like, or you got gangs like the Hells Angels taking off, going to, in my opinion, find it. But I mean, these guys, this is what they do, right? I mean, these guys, you know, to me,
that is, if the Hells Angels are going, then there is a Hells Angel that, yeah, this guy right here, I watched this, and
you did?
Yeah, I watched this, and he talked in there. He's like, look, if they're going out
let
there,
me play it.
Okay, go ahead.
Angels going to Colorado. So I've been riding all day, guys, and I am not a Hell's Angel. I'm not with HA. I am with a 1% Club. Here's what I will tell you, guys. Everybody wants to know, is it true? Is it true? Are the Angels going to Colorado? Here's all I'm going to say. If a 1% Club like the Hell's Angels were to decide to get involved in whatever's going on,
I would bet that it would have to be their business that's been affected. Correct, Ron?
That, yeah. Well, I'll let him. I'm not going to steal his thunder.
Okay.
In Colorado, it wouldn't be because you got on TikTok and you asked them to do it. No, it wouldn't be because the mayor or some congressman said, "Hey, can you guys come over here and help us?" It's not how it works. The only way on God's green earth that HA or any other 1% Club would be going to Aurora, Colorado to do anything, the only reason they would be doing that is if one of their own got fucked with.
Boom, there it is right there. There it is right there. You don't think they're going to help out the community? I mean, they might. I mean, they're a lot of these guys are veterans and shit, man. These guys love their country. I would imagine a lot of these aren't all just, they're not scumbags. You know, I met a lot of biker gangs in the El Paso area, and they're not bad dudes, dude. I mean, a lot of them are just fed up with the system, and they know they got to take it into their own hands.
That's right.
You know, a lot of them, they're actually good dudes, a lot of them. I know that sounds terrible, but they just don't believe in the police.
You know, and I'll tell you that even some of the gangs in areas of, you know, let's just say South Central LA, some of the gangs down there, I mean, you know, there is a good friend of mine who former he's retired sheriff's investigator, and he said that amongst the gangs and the organized criminal element out there, they have a code that they have to follow, and there's a hierarchy. You can't go outside that hierarchy. If you do and you act on your own, you are dealt with internally. And to that point, I firmly believe that if things get really, really bad, you know, the people who are the hard gang members, that maybe, you know, whether they're pushing drugs or whatever, I don't know, but they are they will and potentially could join forces with the regular people, because their way of life is also going to be threatened.
Right.
Everybody in America, you know, when was the last time this country was the most unified? You had to pick a date. The last time this country was
World War II.
No, I would say the day after 9/11.
Yeah, you're right. I stand corrected. That's true. Everyone came together.
Everybody, regardless of whatever, everybody came together. And you know, if stuff like this persists, you will see a coming together of people like you haven't seen in a while.
100%. I agree. Let's play this just for a little bit longer.
Y'all didn't fuck with one of the HAs up there, did you? Ooh, listen. It's really not a good idea. If one of their family members, a good friend of the club, a mother, one of their old ladies, if HA is on their way there, and I'm not HA at all, it's because somebody messed with one of their own. That'd be the only reason they'd do it. And if that happened, if they did that, if they are headed that way, I'm going to just highly recommend that you guys go ahead and clear out. Just whoever it was that did whatever you did to piss off the 1%ers here in America. This is not Venezuela. This is not Brazil. This is not whatever country you came from. Up here, things really are done differently. And you don't You don't want to stand in the way. If you pissed off HA to the point where they got on their motorcycles and they're all headed to Colorado, yeah, now the news won't even talk about it when it's all said.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So
you think they knocked on the wrong door?
yeah, it's possible. I doubt it would have been in a slum area. But this gang that is there, they're doing things that they did back in 2000 and 14, 15, 16 when they were in Venezuela. They ran the prisons down there. This gang ran the prisons in Venezuela.
Wow.
So now this is what I'll say. And there's a quote about the reason the Japanese never invaded the United States is because I think it was Yamamoto said that there was a rifle behind every blade of grass. And you know what? While there's probably not a rifle behind every single blade of grass, that's a little bit of an overstatement. You got to realize that we have a large segment of the population that fought in wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and other places around the world that, technically we're not supposed to be there. You got a tremendous amount of veterans, very capable, organized, disciplined. These guys, the way I watched them come in there with their firearms, it was very nonchalant. They had no trigger control. They had no weapon control. They weren't holding them properly. There was a tremendous lack of discipline.
They're not trained.
That's my point. And so you have a lot of Americans who are trained. And if people came together, because I'll tell you, if stuff like this happens and it gets to be on such a level where the police that can't handle the stuff that they're dealing with now, if they get overwhelmed, what do you think the police are going to do? They ain't going to stay there and protect the city. They're going to go home.
Why do you think they're going in blue states and doing this?
Yeah.
There's less of a chance in these blue states. These Democratic hellholes, I would imagine they feel like they're going to get away with it a lot easier than in a red state.
Do you know what state has do you know what state's population has the most firearms?
I'm going to imagine it's not a red state, is it? I would imagine Texas.
Nope.
But you're going to say something crazy. So what is it?
California.
California. Okay, that's my second guess.
Do you know what the percentage of people in California that are gun owners vote?
Red.
No.
Don't even say blue.
No.
Okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just going to throw out a random number. Let's just say there's 100 million people, or let's just say there's 50 million people in California. I don't know if that's an accurate number, but and let's say of that 50 million people, let's say that 20 million own guns. Okay, of that 20 million own guns, do you know how many of that 20 million vote?
I have no idea.
About 5 million.
Wow. Okay.
Because the reason they don't is because they don't believe that it does anything to make any difference, because there's a Democratic supermajority. And that is, and again, this is why I say that California, I believe California is a red state. Now I'm seeing things that happen that were people who are, conservative are getting out of here. I'm on a major artery going east and west, and I see tons and tons. And I actually have a friend who runs a U-Haul truck place, and they get more outbound trucks without returns than they get inbound. They actually have to reach out and get more trucks.
I was just in LA, for the Reagan premiere, and I got to tell you, man, I went down to the Santa Monica Pier, and I was like, wow. And I'm not trying to be racist or nothing like that, but I really noticed a huge uptick, more than just I'm talking a spike in Spanish speaking individuals, and also drug or
when were you there?
Skid Row, homeless.
When were you there?
About a week ago.
Okay, so I was at the exact same location on Thursday.
Wow. Okay.
I went down there. I went as my birthday this
I
weekend.
knew one of those dudes that was talking to themselves, kicking shit. He looked like that was you.
Yeah, it was me. He's probably me.
Oh man, I was like, that guy's
So I
strung
went down
out.
there. I went down to the Dodger game. I went down to the Dodger game on Thursday night, and but we went. I went down.
That guy looks like Ron. Little did I know.
I went to the pier, and I noticed that there were so many people that weren't speaking English.
Yes.
And then
I felt like I was in Mexico.
Yeah. My friend was watching the house of her son, who lived in Koreatown. And when I was driving back to I came back to drop her off at her son's place, and then I went home. We went through areas that were just, I mean, the number of homelessness was insane. And I had my top down, and I was a little uncomfortable.
Were you just driving through, or did you walk in that area?
I was just driving through.
So when I was walking in that area, I got screamed at like 4 or 5 times by homeless. Like they were yelling at me, like almost getting into my face. I was like, better step back.
When I went through, it was like at 10 o'clock at night. So it was really, really dark.
Now, this is during the day for me. They were already throwing timbers.
Mm-hmm. It was uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. It was uncomfortable seeing the volume of people there, and the police just had units that were parked at the side of the road, just watching. They get just watching and waiting to see if anything.
So what do you think? What do you think, in your opinion, is going to happen here? I think this is going to escalate, and I think that this is going to happen more frequently as we come into November, to where I can see veterans and other people banding together and going to places like the Hells Angels and starting and going to protect the communities. I can see this.
I don't think that's going to be the case, brother. Listen, you
don't think that's going to be the case?
No,
it's already happening. What are you talking about?
No. Okay, let me qualify that. Do you think that patriots are going to get together and go protect woke people in New York, in downtown LA? Do you think veterans who fought for this country are going to go down and protect people who want to take away their right to defend themselves?
Maybe not in like inner city areas, but I can see places like Aurora, Colorado, like where there's like a lot of suburban. I can see that.
I'll go along with that, but I don't believe that it's going to happen in the major metropolitan areas. Number one, there is a significant difference between fighting in open terrain and fighting in an urban environment. There's an enormous difference. You don't know where your blind spots are, especially if it's dark, and you just don't know. And what happens if there's no electricity? What happens if there's no electricity and there's no food? Then what's going to happen? You're not going to. I recall. Did you ever see the kind of the docudrama called Generation Kill, where they went with these guys that were in the first Marine Recon, and towards the end, one of the lieutenants was asked to send a patrol out, and he flat out refused. And he's like, they want me to send a patrol out into basically chaos for what? So that I can come home with 10 guys instead of 14. It's like, I'm not going to do anything to stop what's going on out there. And that's the same thing that patriots are going to be. I mean, the patriots are going to get the hell out of the cities as best they can if they haven't already.
Well, they're going to go and protect their families. That's what I think.
Or they're going to band together because, I mean,
just like you're saying, everyone's leaving leaving California. They're going back probably home to family.
There's safety in numbers. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people from California, man. There's a lot of people from California that grew up here. I wouldn't be here except if it weren't for my mom. So, I mean, that's right. If it weren't for my mom, I would be here. But I mean, you're
not in LA. I mean, I would imagine the cities like LA and places like that, or San Francisco, those are going to be the ones that get hit pretty hard here.
I'm in a fairly conservative area of California, but I would argue that there's a lot more conservative areas in California than people realize. The media does a very good job of portraying California as this staunchly blue area, when it's not. Here's a fun little fact. I don't know if you know this, but do you know that the colors changed for the parties in the 80s?
No.
The Republicans were blue and the Democrats were red. And
really?
Yeah, is it there's an old saying called blue
Well, I love
dog
having you on. You always send me. You always
blue.
school me
There's an
random
old yeah,
facts.
there's an old saying called blue dog Democrat and true blue.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yes.
yes. In 1984, they changed it. If you look at the map, Carter was red and Reagan was blue when Reagan won the election in 1980.
Interesting.
If
I didn't
you
know
look
that.
at the 1984 map, Reagan was red and Carter was blue. Now, the reason for that, I firmly believe, is the Democratic Party is the ones that really embraced the Marxist ideology. And what color is red associated with?
Yeah, the communism.
Communism.
Yeah.
So they had to make that change to get the Democrats away from red. So they made Democrats blue and
Very
Republicans
interesting.
red.
I got to tell you, I mean, a lot of the people that I have talked to, and just from my own instincts, to be honest with you, we all feel it. We all know that this is getting ready to get out of control. But there's other things happening in the country as well. Let's talk about that. Um, there's a lot of military movement, correct, Ron?
Yep. I'm hearing a lot of stuff about military movements.
News, please share this video. It says here a major shopping mall opposite the Pentagon is on lockdown with high-level government official inside. Wow. Big breaking news. This mall has been evacuated. Everybody was told to leave and is on lockdown. And yeah, we're going to see what's going on here, guys. This is a big breaking news. This information is coming out, I think it was 38 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago. So once again, please pray for the people out there trying to enjoy this beautiful Sunday, September 1st.
And you know, it is Labor Day weekend, so could we see something happen?
Yeah, that looks like it would be Fashion City, Pentagon City Shopping Mall. I'm just looking at I looked at the map, and that's so that's interesting and very interesting.
Not to mention, I had Sheriff Mack on with Juan talking about how 10/7, you know, October 7th is going to be. There's a lot of intelligence briefings, and sheriffs are being briefed right now. And on a, you know, Sheriff Mack wouldn't tell me who, but they're saying that, you know, to watch out for the date 10/7. So there's going to be a lot of you know, hearsay and whispers and get ready for this, get ready for that. And I think, you know, people are just braced right now. I think the country as a whole, we all feel something coming. I don't, you know, obviously dates, they never come to pass when you say them out loud, right? But then like 3 or 4 days later, something happens, or 2 weeks later. But I think we can confidently say that, you know, we're on the clock now with September and October. And I think we can really expect anything. And also another thing is,
I'm
who's
hearing
to
mid-September,
say?
man. Honestly, I'm hearing mid-September.
Really, I've heard that too as well. I've heard, you know, but we can't. It's like,
We don't
you
know.
know,
We don't
ready,
know
set,
when.
go, and then hurry up, you know, hurry up and wait some more. And it's like,
Right.
I think there's going to be a whole list of things that happen. I'm still waiting on the Black Swan event. I know that's going to happen with the banks. We both know that's coming. So I think this final stretch into November, people really need to, you know, have their six, right? I mean, they got to be
Well,
very careful.
talking about the banking. I am seeing and hearing that I talked to a good friend of mine who's really big onto the you know, on Wall Street, and he said that he saw the baked in numbers for the financial statements, and he said, yeah, he says they're going to cut rates in September. There's no, or maybe I think he said they're going to announce they're going to cut rates in August or early September or
I
whatever.
think they did. I think they announced it. Yeah.
And he said the numbers were baked in. He said he already knew it. So my feeling with that is that there's a little bit downwind with that. What we're going to probably see is we're probably going to see a little bit of a rise in the stock market, possibly. I'm you know, I'm not a financial advisor, but you know, if they cut the rates, it's going to put a little bit more liquidity in the market, and I feel like people are going to be fearful of keeping their money in dollars. There's going to be a flight to gold and silver. I also think there could be a flight to some cryptos. and maybe out of the stock market. People are just, they don't know what to do.
Even with Trump announcing that, he wants to make America the crypto capital of the world. Yeah.
That's not accidental.
No.
That's not accidental. I mean, how long have I been saying that was going to be the vehicle that really kind of
you're still on 100% on board on XRP, right?
Well, that one I'm also so I paid a guy. I started following a guy that is anti XRP, and I'll tell you why. He was big into the meme coins. Now I remember I read an article back in I think it was in June, and it talked about year to date from January to that point in time that there were several different asset classes within the crypto space. The real world assets, which was the second biggest ROI in terms of percentage, it was at like 280% return on investment for the real world asset tokens, things like XRP and Solana, stuff like that. But the meme coin space had a return on investment of over 1,800%. And this guy was a meme coin guy. Well, I dropped the money to pay. I actually took money out of my crypto portfolio and paid it to him, and to get his picks. And when I'm basically following everything that he's done, and I've done pretty good. The market has kind of gone sideways over the last probably month or so, month and a half. But I'm expecting that there will be a little bit of I don't want to say a blow off top, but I kind of feel like as we get towards the election, I think we're going to see a flocking into some of those things as potential safe havens. We'll see. But I think that Trump talking about the United States being the crypto leader of the world, I think that's going to have a significant impact on people. They're going to start paying attention. I've always said that, just like cell phones and email, we may have been resistant to cell phones and email in their mid 90s, but by now, and within 10 years, everybody was using a cell phone and everybody had an email address.
Right. Yeah.
And crypto is no different. Just because you don't want to do it or you don't believe in digital, a digital representation of money doesn't mean that you're not going to be forced to do it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get in there and you're going to see how really just kind of how simple it is. And you're going to be like, dang, I regret that I didn't do this in the past, because the opportunities for people to invest in Amazon in 1995 are there right now with certain tokens that are going to be the infrastructure of the future financial system. And, when Jim Willie, who talked about the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of the world is coming, I truly believe that the crypto market is going to be in on that. And I don't, while I do believe that Bitcoin is going to have a role to play there, I just don't think that Bitcoin is not going to be adopted by financial institutions, because nobody knows who made Bitcoin. I agree with that. Yeah. It's this mythical figure of Satoshi Nakamoto. Well, every other project out there has physical people that are representatives who created the network. And you're never going to have a financial institution back its money up with things that are
with a huge question mark.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. On a large scale. I'm not saying that it won't happen at all, because we are seeing like Bitcoin ETFs and stuff like that. But I think coming, it's going to be it'll be a lot different.
Let's switch gears for a second and talk about the New York deploying National Guard.
Okay, and this is the picture that I was telling you about. So the guy there on the right, the guy on the right, he's either Navy or Marine. And you can tell you can also tell by the way he's rolling his sleeves up. And the guy on the left he's wearing multicam or Scorpion, and he's got his sleeves all the way down. So what that means, I don't know, but this is at a hotel. And I think one of the guys walks in. Play the video.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we have some urgent information coming out. If you can, please share this video. And we have a big breaking news, red alert. Reports coming out. New York deploying National Guard for Donald's sentencing on September 18. Now, I talked about this yesterday, and I warned that this has something to do with September 18. Now, I claim
My birthday. That's great. But I've heard from a lot of other people that he is not going to, they may, it'll be appealed. It'll be appealed.
I don't know, man. I think that I honestly think it would do more for his credibility and for the people if he were to be sentenced, even if it was a short sentence or whatever. I think it would send them over the top in terms of popularity.
Yeah, well, obviously, but I mean, will they take him in that day?
Maybe, maybe not. But if they do
Donald
sentence
to be in prison that day. Now, there's a possibility there's going to be a huge rise in that region. All right, we're going to see what's going on here. This is a breaking news update. For those of you that missed the video, I will share the link in the comments box. Please share it to the channel. Once again, the PayPal link in the Patreon video. So numerous reports, this is an update, numerous reports have begun coming in saying large number of New York National Guard troops are being brought into hotels around the courthouse in Manhattan in preparation for the
Now, I've heard over 5 hotels. What have you heard, Ron? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard that many, but I'll be honest with you, brother. I have not been paying that close attention to the news as much as a lot of other people. I've really been focused a lot more on the historical component on things. But I do pay attention, but it occupies a fraction of my time, all things considered. And I'm not nearly as up on it as a lot of people who do cover things of current events.
The lock of Donald on September 18 at his sentencing. Now, word came from a federal law enforcement source. Okay, hold on. Saying that a New York State judge whose daughter collected hundreds of thousands of dollars in consulting work from the left, during the Donald trial, will order Donald taken to, look at his jail, at the sentencing on September 18. Donald will report.
There's trouble reportedly taken to Rikers Island jail at the time.
Yeah, Rikers Island ain't no joke.
No,
but I can't imagine that he would be put in like the.
I'm going to say I don't see this happening. Just my instincts kicking in. I think it's going to be a scare, but I don't see it happening. What's your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I tend to think that they're gonna put him in the jail just to make a statement. I think I think they feel like they need the statement.
I think they could,
him in a jumpsuit. They want to see him in a jumpsuit, brother.
And he's gonna just spike in popularity.
Oh, 1,000%. Whatever they do, it's freaking boomerang, dude. It's all boomerang. Yeah. It all backfires.
We already got the mugshot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover this more. I'm waiting for some calls from a few people. Juan being one of them, and I'm gonna see, and the ghost another. I would like to talk to the ghost about this.
I've talked to him at length about this.
And but he's on the side of he thinks it's gonna happen, correct?
I'll let him talk about that. There's things that he says that I don't know what I can and can't say because he's spoken to me in confidence. So, but I probably get a lot more than what he would tell the audience. I just say that I'll just leave it at this. He is of the opinion that things are going to get crazy. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily going to begin on the 18th, but it wouldn't surprise me if we had some events that cause some chaos. I think there's going to be a lot of anger in the country. One of the things about conservatives that you got to look at is most conservatives, they are, a lot of them served in the military. A lot of them, had gone to war. Most people who are police officers are conservative, not everyone. Anybody who's involved in any sort of thing like that, generally speaking, are on the conservative side of things. Conservative to middle of the road, whatever. The point being is that we know what fighting is. We know what combat is. We know what when we, I only saw missiles firing off a ship, but it's a sobering fact when you see a missile flying off and you know that when that thing lands, there's death and destruction. That's a sobering thought. So, was I involved in hand-to-hand combat? No. But did I see missiles flying off a ship going to, strike a target? Yeah, I did. And that's, I, at this point in my life, I'm a pacifist. I do not want conflict. And I think it's extraordinarily important that people adopt the mentality to do not look for a fight, avoid a fight at all costs. If a fight comes your way and you cannot avoid it, that's different. But you want to avoid conflict at every possible turn.
But you and I both agree that we're going to see a lot more of this, and things are going to kick off.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you guys. I know most people that are, most people, they like to live in a nice area. They like to live in a place that it's clean, it's organized. The very best way that you can make yourself not appear to be a target is to have boarded up windows and shit on your lawn and trash everywhere. Because what happens is that people are going to walk by there and they're going to be like, oh, this place has already been hit, and they're going to move on to the next one. Or they're going to be like, this is slum or whatever. But the point I'm making is, if you don't want to make yourself a target, the last thing you want to do is make yourself a target.
100%. And but I've heard house jackings are going up, car jackings. I mean, crime is spiking, and it's just going to get worse. I say everyone that's listening to this podcast, stay close to loved ones, know your community, know your neighbors, keep an eye out, and especially if you live in a blue state, just have your eyes open and your ears open. That's all I can say.
Head on a swivel, and prepare while you can, because we all remember what the grocery stores looked like when they were empty. I'll never forget that morning that I walked into my local grocery store, and it was like 15 minutes after the store had opened, and I feel as though, I don't know this for a fact, but I feel as though they probably opened the doors much earlier, but they had every check stand open, and the line to get out was full, and the line stretched around. When you walk into a grocery store, you're typically going to have your produce on one side, you're going to have the deli aisle, you're going to have the meat department is probably going to be in the back or something like that. But the line went all the way around 3/4 of the perimeter of the inside of the store, and every basket was full. And I anticipate that the line to check out was probably about 4 hours to get out of there.
And what did people go crazy over? Toilet paper.
Toilet paper, yeah, and not just toilet paper, but I mean they were buying goods and stuff. And I remember the night before or the day before, I remember telling people at my gym, I said, hey guys, listen, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but get yourself prepared today. Go to the store today. And I remember people were kind of pissed off at me. They didn't like that I said that, but the next day they were like, holy crap.
Yeah, nobody likes to hear that. It's uncomfortable, but it is what it is.
Well, I don't have any problem voicing what I believe. And my only objective was to help people be prepared for what I heard was coming, and I wasn't wrong. Now a lot of people think I'm like Nostradamus now, but it's just because I pay attention to stuff, right?
Well, hey Ron, where can people find you?
UntoldHistory.tv takes you right to my Rumble channel.
Great channel, folks. Check it out. My boy Ron. Ron, let's get you on more often, man. I really I gotta go right now. I gotta go check on my parents, but
no worries. I completely understand that.
You know how it is for me right now. Yeah. That's why I'm like,
I think
running on fumes.
I don't think there's I think of all the people that you probably have on your channel, I'm probably the only one that truly comprehends.
Gets it. Yeah. Gets that fact, that problem, that enormous problem. It's tough. But UntoldHistory.tv, folks. It's great. I'll be bringing on some more people on Nino's Corner.tv to dive deeper into this. What are we expecting these next couple months?
What might be a good idea would be to get 𝗀𝗂𝗏 and 𝗪𝗲 and some of the other guys that are, you know, veterans on and talk about.
You're right. I
Talk
think
about
we should.
stuff. Yeah. So your
Yeah, that'd
call.
be a great
Just a
roundtable, man.
suggestion. Yeah. Just a suggestion.
Good one.
So,
Thank you, Ron, for joining me.
hey man, thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Oh, and folks, hit the like, subscribe, and share the hell out of this. All right, folks. Later.
Better.